gotta say, this is why I've christened him the fisherman. He is fishing. Let's ask him why he's only looked at one specific list of only Arsenal decisions against.
Come on, Dan, have your say. He's been building up. It's the longest I've heard Dan not talk.
I've enjoyed listening to that. I don't need to come back at the referees anymore because you missed one off there, by the way, which was the last minute penalty against Burnley at home, which was a guy.
I didn't want to take the mic.
Anyway, it is what it is. I don't like Martin Atkinson. When Martin Atkinson's at a football match, you're going to get bad decisions. Okay, so that's that. What I don't like to hear, especially from you, Harry, after the years and years that Arsene Wenger has undermined the fans, that you're going to find any other reason to take it away from this guy. Arsene Wenger not going on the lap of honour was an absolute disgrace. He should have been the first one out there. He should have been leading that team.
Wenger out.
4 summers in a row, this guy has failed to sign a leader. So stand up and take responsibility because you have cost your team the top 4. You mentioned it was ironic that the defeat was to Liverpool on the first day of the season. What else was ironic was needing a favour from Middlesbrough when he drew 0-0 at home with Middlesbrough early in the season. Okay. After the game against Liverpool, Arsene Wenger summed himself up perfectly. Okay, there was a question asked. It took 5 seconds for the interviewer to ask it. After 8 seconds, Arsene Wenger had already mentioned the 20-year record in the Champions League. Why are you mentioning that today?
But what do you want him to be proud of it?
No,
should be proud of it. It's an achievement.
He shouldn't be proud of it. He should be proud of it before the game. He should be proud of it next week. After that game, what Arsene Wenger is, Arsene Wenger thinks he's done enough. He thinks because of the first 6 years at the club, which were exceptional. Okay, he had some benefits, but he built a team, and you can't take anything away from him. He thinks because of that he's done enough. So that was that. Then this is what else this guy's come out with after the game. So he's done that. Within 30 seconds, he's mentioned 1 point. So straight away, he's already feeling hard done by. He's trying to say, do you know what? Look how close we were. In reality, Arsene Wenger, you were miles away from the top 4, and you had to rally at the end to make it close.
So how was he miles? 1 point is not miles away.
1 point. It's what Wenger does. He gets himself so far back, and then he rallies at the end, and he loses narrowly. He loses 4-0 in Milan. He wins 3-0 at home. He loses 3-0 in the Emirates, he wins 2-0 in Munich. He loses 3-1 to Monaco, he wins 2-0 goals and away goals. When Mourinho called him a specialist in failure, this is what he meant, okay? It is you have worked out how to foul and get away with it. And he's pulled the wool over Arsenal's fans' eyes for years and years, and only this season has the small pockets of Wenger out grown into a majority. And he's feeling sorry for himself. Like he thinks the fans own something. Arsenal Football Club are a massive club. They don't owe Arsene Wenger anything anymore. Nothing anymore. One more thing in that interview as well, and it upsets me because whether I like Arsenal or not, I don't like people mugging off football fans, okay? Football fans are passionate and gullible at the best of times, okay? This is what he said in that interview. He said, he was asked when we lost it, and he said, we had a bad period after we lost the game to Bayern Munich when Koscielny got sent off. Why has he mentioned Koscielny got sent off? I'll tell you why. Because he believes in his head that if that red card didn't happen, Arsenal could have won that game. That's ridiculous.
Does he actually believe that?
He believes it. He believes it. I don't like using the word delusional, especially against fans. Fans are passionate. They're not delusional. Arsene Wenger's not delusional. I think he sees something that just doesn't exist. He's so caught up in emotion in what he does. He said a short period of time after we lost that game. Going into that game, Arsene Wenger, in the 4 games preceding that, he lost 2-1 to Watford. He beat Hull in the game you mentioned. That was the referee. The referee had a big impact in. He beat who else did he beat now? So he beat Burnley in similar circumstances. He lost another game against a team he couldn't be losing to. I can't remember who it was. And he lost 5-1 in Munich. That was the 5 games.
Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace. So he's lost to Crystal Palace. These are in the 5 or 6 games running into that. And he's got the cheek to say there was a bad period afterwards. There was a bad period before. There was a bad period from January when Arsene Wenger was top of the league in January and he didn't know what to do. The same as last season, he hit the top, he didn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to manage anymore. So, to point at the referee is letting Wenger off the hook. Anyone who has not waved Wenger out...
I don't think he's blaming the ref.
Let's get it straight. I'm not blaming the referees for Arsenal not making the top 4. I am pointing out that referees are having too much of an impact on what happens in the Premier League. They are dictating games with their awful decisions. They don't have a clue what they're doing, and they need help. Now, if football fans want to sit there and say, actually, referees don't need help, it's all alright, if we bring technology in, it's going to get worse, it's going to become a mess, then I don't know what to say anymore, because I do not want to spend my hard-earned money every week to go and watch a football match that is decided by the man in black in the middle of the pitch, who was 50 yards behind the play and simply could not see what happened. And he's just hazarding a guess. That's all he's doing, he's hazarding a guess every week.
Yeah. And to be fair, Martin Atkinson did guess that decision. Martin Atkinson's run was so bad that he run behind the only defender who could block his view. And when refs go on training camps, that's what they're taught, is where to position themselves, how to read the game.
But this goes back to what I was saying about the so-called assistant. Why aren't they supporting them? And I've got to say something about Wenger. I think you are absolutely 100% completely wrong when it comes to walking around the pitch for the lap of honour on Sunday. That team, if Wenger was there, would have got absolutely booed off the park because of all this horrible hatred. Look at the story about Harry Kane, which is happening within their own crowd. These fans, they are delusional. Most fans are. And Wenger would have got completely booed. So he, in my opinion, protecting the players so they can do their lap of honour at the end of the season. Yes, it's not ideal where we finished. Yes, we wouldn't have wanted to finish 5th. Yes, we would have wanted to finish in the top 4. Me personally, I want to finish top, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I'm done with it. I don't want to see that anymore. So there are big issues at the club. I'm 100% sure of that. Wenger not going on a lap of honour, I'm hardly worried about that. If anything, it was the right decision for me.
Yeah, I think Wenger felt that he couldn't go on the pitch, He felt that he couldn't walk around because he was going to get abused. And I can tell you, because I was there, that fans were getting ready. The minute the lap of honour was about to begin, they were pulling out banners that we hadn't seen during the game. They were pulling out banners, and quite funnily, there was a group of boys that every time someone held the Wenger banner up, they would go and stand on the seats in front of them to block it. So it just shows you the divide.
If you saw that then, Harry, why come the Arsenal fan TV lot didn't see it?
I mean, listen, we've
Do you know
got a
what I
question
mean?
coming in, around Arsenal fan TV. Do not get me started on Arsenal fan TV, because I could spend 20 minutes absolutely slating them because they do not represent our club and they've made everything 10 times worse.
Don't give them the time of day.
No, they don't deserve it. We've got a comment coming in.
Bring them in to tell them themselves, yeah?
Well,
Robbie, we'll get Robbie on.
I say comment coming in. This one's coming from Alavi, who's on the other side of the room. You can say it. I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying, can you have Wenger walking around the pitch when there's kids there? It's not fair, really. Is it? A lot of the players brought their kids on the pitch.
That is low, even by
No, I'm saying he might train them incorrectly in terms of football.
I'm
football
sure that's what
coaching.
you meant. I'm sure that's
Right,
what
so
you meant.
let's go on to the FA Cup.
Right, let's look at the FA Cup final. So this weekend sees Chelsea and Arsenal clash at Wembley. The Gunners go into their 3rd final in 4 years on a strong run of form. But there's no doubt that Chelsea are the favourites here. How do you guys see this one going? And if you was Arsene Wenger, how would you approach this one? We'll start with you, Alavi, on this one.
Look, you'd be mad not to obviously bet on Chelsea, but I think for me, and I guess I want to pose the question to the 2 Arsenal fans in particular. There's 3 players who are sort of doubtful but might make it. Do you think the win depends on those 3 making? Obviously, is it Gibbs, Mustafi and Ox? Is it?
No, Ox. Sorry, said Ox is fit. Koscielny's obviously suspended.
Yeah.
Mustafi's got a concussion. It doesn't look like he'll play. Gabriel's out.
Definitely out. Yeah. So the ones that are doubtful, does it depend on them being fit?
I mean, Gibbs and Mustafi are the 2 which are doubts. I think Mustafi would be a big impact if he's out, because it might mean that Wenger will have to go back to 4 at the back because of the lack of time Mertesacker's got. Gibbs missing, I don't think that's a big deal. I'm not a big Gibbs fan, to be honest with you, so I don't think that'll be a huge loss. I'm not concerned about that at all.
DeLuca?
First of all, there's no reason why Arsenal can't upset the odds. It's a cup final. I'm a romantic.
Well, you just said that Wenger can't manage, so that's a pretty strong reason.
Wenger can't manage over a course of a season, and he can't manage over a course of 13 seasons. I don't need to elaborate on that. I mean, the evidence is there. Wenger can't manage, but Wenger has an advantage in a way that the chips are down so much. His hand is going to be forced. His hand is going to be forced as to who he has to pick, And sometimes, when things go wrong, when things are against you, sometimes the camaraderie between the team pull big performances from the depths.
So what you're saying is that Wenger's got a better chance of winning because he's forced into this particular team.
I think there is a chance of that. Sometimes it becomes almost, like you look at Arsenal teams. I know a lot about Arsenal for whatever reason, but you look at Arsenal teams in the past where they've had all their injuries. They seem to get on with it. Then players start coming back. They tail off at the end of the season. Sometimes when the team's picked for you, it does make it easier, right? But in a one-off game, Arsenal can win the game. Let's be clear about that, right? How they do it, Wenger might not have many options. So the two options he's going to be left with is, does he instruct his side to be disciplined and turn the game into a 45-minute game? Does he try and get through to half-time 0-0? Similar to the Manchester City game, where they spent the first... they conceded in the end. They spent the first hour kind of soaking it up, and then in the second 30 minutes they let their energy take over against an aging side. Chelsea, they're tough enough to crack. If I was Wenger, I would be looking to mix this up. I'd be looking to come out the blocks fast, really fast. I'd be trying to use my faster players like Welbeck and Walcott to stretch Azpilicueta out to the wings. I'd be playing wide. I'd be trying to break up their back three as much as possible, get players running behind. Then halfway through the first half, I'd then sit back, disciplined tight. You want to make this game as short as possible. You want the game to be dull for as long as you can, and squeeze it out, and then pick 2 15-minute spells in each half to try and catch Chelsea on the back foot. And I think Arsenal could win the game. Obviously Chelsea are the favourite, but why not? I would rather see Wenger now try and outthink the opposition. I don't want him to go there and do the possession football, because Chelsea will soak that up. He needs to mix this up and try and confuse Chelsea with his tactics.
I've got to say, this is one of the... I kind of agree with you to an extent there, Dan, because one of the things I've always said about Wenger, especially with when he had great sides previous, Arsene Wenger likes to have a first 11. He likes to have a first 11 who he will pick if fit. He knows who his 11 are, and he wants them to play each and every game, and he will run them into the ground if possible. And if you look over the years, the teams where we've done the double in '98, when we were challenging United in the subsequent couple of years after that, and then obviously the title winning league in '02, and then obviously gaining Invincible in '04. We always had a first 11 with a couple of squad players who would come in. So your Edu who would come in, your Wiltord who would come in and do a job, Christopher Ray, coming in here or there to support.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Glenn
But
Helder.
the last few years, he hasn't had a first 11, and he's had to make decisions on who he wants to play and in what games. And I feel like that's what's letting down, and I've always felt that him having a bigger squad can be a detriment to him. But obviously in the footballing world now, you have to have a big squad, because an 11 or a 14 or 15 doesn't cut it. So that's one thing there, which I just feel like...
Yeah, the game's moved on, and he hasn't.
So maybe him getting forced into the decision might be something which helps. Oh look, we can beat any team on our day. We can. But we need to perform to the best of our ability. We need to play our pressing game, which we pull out every now and then. Our players don't tend to get up for these small games. So when we play big teams, we do tend to be up for it to an extent with our pressing game. The first half against Bayern, as an example, yes, it was only a half. And we can pull out the bag here and there. Listen, Chelsea are the favourites. Our defence looks really weak. We're probably going to start off with a left-back in Monreal at centre-back. Rob Holding, who I'm a big fan of, but very inexperienced. And Mertesacker, who's played, 30 minutes all season? Even though he's our club captain. So yeah, they are the favourites. They're going up against my pick for player of the year in Diego Costa. Hazard, who finished the season much better than he started it. So Chelsea they're no mugs. They won the league. They're a good side, and they're gonna come at Arsenal. So Arsenal need 11 players who are gonna be performing to the best of their abilities.
We've had a question coming from Cos, this one. I'm going to put this one to you, Andy. If Arsene Wenger won the FA Cup, would that be enough for you to want him to stay?
you've asked me if I want Wenger in or Wenger out for the last how many years. My honest answer to that question is I don't know. I don't think there should be a definitive
Thanks for
answer.
shedding some light.
I don't think there should be a definitive
That is an answer. It's a fair answer.
I don't think people should say yes, he should definitely be gone, or yes, he should definitely stay. I think there's a lot of circumstances, and if one or two things change, then yes, I think he should stay. If one or two things don't change, then yes, I think he should go. So I think there's a lot of things which can happen, and it's not just a matter of yes, I'm Wenger out, or yes, I'm Wenger in.
Okay, so if I put it to you this way, if Arsenal win the FA Cup, do you think Wenger should stay? Is that enough for him to stay?
I don't think that is enough for him to stay. But my reasons for wanting Wenger out are completely different to others. I'm bored. I'm bored of seeing the same thing happen for the last 4 or 5 years. Oh, we're going to challenge. Oh, we're going to be there. We're right there. Oh my God, look at us. We're having such a great season. 1 or 2 injuries, bang. We can't just blame the injuries. And then, our so-called mentally strong side, which is the weakest mentally side that I've seen in 7 or 8 years, for the last 7 or 8 years, I should say. They're just so weak. They can't last. So I want to see wholesale changes. If anything, I want to see a new manager just for the change. Even if it means we finish 7th or 8th. I'm not saying I'd rather finish 7th or 8th, but to see something different might actually be interesting. I've seen Arsenal for so long, and I have been spoilt in the past by some of the great football we've played, that I just want to see something different now rather than the same thing. And if you mention to me like, oh, he has to go because of this, or he has to stay because of this, I just can't agree with anyone who makes such a definitive decision just like that.
Fair enough. I mean, I'd approach the final. I agree with what Dan said to an extent about, trying to hit them in certain periods. But for me, being a side who are, as Andy said, so weak mentally, I think the opening stages are so important and we need to grow into the game. And for me, we've got to look to keep it tight for the first 15, 20 minutes. That is the priority for me, because I do not believe that this Arsenal side have enough about them mentally to get themselves back in a game that they're losing. I really don't.
Let me throw that question back to you then. So, if Arsenal win the FA Cup tomorrow, is that enough for Wenger to stay, in your opinion? Because today, I've heard you say Wenger needs to stay and Wenger needs to go, and for the last 2 weeks, you've been up and down like a yo-yo and you can't make up your mind.
I said this to the boys in the group yesterday. I feel like a confused child at the moment. I feel like a 14-year-old boy that doesn't know what he wants with his life, because I'm so confused about this. I don't know.
But why does it need to be so definitive? Why can't it be, listen, there's a lot of things which need to change, and me personally, my ideal scenario will be a lot of things change, including Wenger himself, and he stays. But that's because I love him.
The thing is that, you're putting the question on me now. What would I do? What would I want if Wenger won the cup? The fact of the matter is this: Arsene Wenger, if he wins the FA Cup, will turn around and laugh at everyone. We've been taking the piss out of him all season, but this guy could end the season with a trophy. And I don't mean to have a Tottenham dig here, but Tottenham have ended the season with 0 silverware. So you could argue that Arsenal have achieved more this season if they win the FA Cup.
And
it's
it'll be
buts,
the third in 4 years.
Yeah, 3 cups in 4 years.
People seem to disregard that as well, because we haven't been competing for the league. But that is, again, because of high standards set and expectation.
I think too much emphasis is put on, people were slagging off Manchester United all season. They've won 2 trophies now, and all of a sudden, everyone's saying they've had a good season. Now, I'm being an Arsenal fan, having seen so many nearly teams under Arsene Wenger, I want to see my team win silverware. So if he does win the cup, then to me, it makes it more difficult to sack him, definitely.
I would say last season, first of all, when Man United won the FA Cup and Louis van Gaal got sacked, a lot of people were in uproar. So you could argue the same for Wenger. The problem I got with Wenger, and look, I want Wenger to go. Forget who I support for a minute. I want him to go because I don't think he serves a football club well anymore. It's been too long. Okay, I think if he wins the FA Cup this season, it will be a lot more impressive, given the nature of the atmosphere at the ground, and bearing in mind the last 4 Wembley games and the 2 cups he won, you're talking about playing Wigan, Hull, Reading, and Villa. So if he does it this time,
only beat who's in front
I'm
of
not
him.
taking it away from him. He's done the job, and he beat Liverpool, Tottenham, Everton on the way to get to that point. So what I'm saying is though, if you look at the 4 teams in the semi-final lineup this year, it was mouthwatering, and if he can come out on top, then obviously that's a great achievement. And maybe he will have a little giggle at some of his critics, maybe critics in the media, but has he really got a right to do that when you consider everything else that's gone before? The fact that we're talking about 10 seasons is harsh, but from 2010 onwards, Arsenal have been in a position to challenge, and he's not been able to do it. So I think it'd be a great day for Arsenal Football Club. It would be a chance to have bragging rights over Tottenham if that's what you want. That's what football's all about. But at the end of the day, for me, Arsene Wenger winning the SFA Cup doesn't take away the last 5 years of failing to improve his team. I don't think it's good enough.
I mean, for me, a lot of it you got to remember is perspective, and it does go back again to that first subject we started about whole Man United, Spurs, who's had a better season. It's perspective based on the expectation of the club. United were celebrating yesterday because they won the Europa League and the Carling Cup and the Charity Shield, where I was sent a picture earlier from a Liverpool fan who sent me a picture from the United end in 2001 when Liverpool done the treble, and they had a big banner up which said Mickey Mouse treble, and that was when they won the Europa League, the Carling Cup and the FA Cup, not even the Charity Shield. So it's perspective at the time. United were flying high, and they're looking down upon Liverpool challenging for these secondary trophies. Yes, at the moment Arsenal aren't competing for the league when we hope they would. So a secondary trophy like the FA Cup is a massive day out. It's a day out and a trophy which lifts the fans and gives that false hope for the next season, even if it is just false hope.
It's like playing golf when you have like a terrible round and you hit one good shot on the 18th and you want to play again. I wouldn't take anything away from Arsenal if they won the FA Cup. It's great, celebrate it. What you said there about United fans and the Liverpool banner, that's what football fans do. They change their mind to suit their argument, to suit having a pop at their rivals. But my last point on Arsenal, I guess, is for 9 years when they didn't win a trophy, there was a lot of criticism coming their way from rival fans, and all anyone came back with from Arsenal was, oh, but we've been in the Champions League 15 years, 16 years, 17 years.